Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. My top 5 of my top 20 favorite anthologies. My top 5 is probably not going to be much of a surprise to anyone. Maybe the order in which they're put together may be a little bit of a surprise. But I just want to say how much fun I've had doing this top 20. I actually really enjoy these top 20, top 10, top 5 lists. They're a lot of fun, and to think about all the anthologies or slasher movies or werewolf films that I've seen over the years, and to figure out which ones make the cut and which ones don't. It's definitely a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have had a lot of fun because I've had fun doing it. But let's get started with number 5. Trilogy of Terror. This is the Dark Sky edition. I was talking to the horror man, Joe, the other day about I found this probably about 6 months ago in a Savers. We have like a Savers thrift store here. And it was one of the movies that when it originally came out, I kind of put off buying it. And all of a sudden it was out of print. And it was going for like $60 or $70. And I was fortunate enough to find this Dark Sky Films DVD at a local Savers for $3 about 6 months ago. So I was stoked. And actually, most of the time when you find something good in a thrift store, generally speaking, you open the case and it's empty. But this is not empty. So, but of course, I actually like all the stories in this trilogy. My favorite probably is the little doll, the last story, but I do like the others almost as much. Um, it's just a fun trilogy, and for a television movie like this originally was, it's creepy. It's got a little bit of creep value to it. But that is number 5, Trilogy of Terror. Cool film. Lucky I found this one. Coming in at number 4, Tales from the Crypt. Now, as I stated in one of my other videos, this is probably my favorite Scream Factory release because I love both of these films. Vault of Horror is really cool. It made my top 10. Of course, Tales from the Crypt is at number 4. All the stories in Tales from the Crypt are good in my opinion, but the first one definitely is my favorite. The one with Joan Collins about the Santa Claus. And I'll leave it at that if you've never seen it. It is a really, really cool segment of an anthology. Definitely one of my favorites of all time. But that is number 4, Tales from the Crypt. I would definitely recommend this Blu-ray if it's still, I'm not even sure if it's still available. I've had this for quite some time. But if this is still available, this is definitely a must-own. These are two of the best anthologies in my opinion. So, that was number 4, Tales from the Crypt. Coming in at number 3, All Hallows Eve. Now, I just did a review on Terrifier, which was, it's an incredible film. This is where Art the Clown got his start on All Hallows Eve. I love the concept of this anthology. To me, it feels very 80s. Give you a brief synopsis of the wraparound. A girl's babysitting, I believe it's 2 kids, and they're out trick-or-treating, and one of them finds a VHS tape. I believe it's the boy in his trick-or-treat bag. and basically you're watching the anthologies on the VHS tape. But I think it's so cool. And the stories are really, really neat in this. But, of course, none of them compare to Art the Clown. I have a feeling you're going to be hearing so much more about him in the future. Very talented guy that plays him. Very creepy. So, number 3, All Hallows Eve. Coming in at number 2, and this shouldn't be a big surprise, is Trick or Treat. This is a really cool slipcover to it. And I love the cover underneath of it, which is probably why I've seen it a few times on Blu-ray but never upgraded, because I really like this edition of it. It's got the Sam head on the inside. Ah, can't get it. This is a cool one. First time I watched it, I actually, surprisingly enough, wasn't that big of a fan of this. I expected more out of it. I don't know if I was tired or in a bad mood when I watched it, but second time I watched it, all of a sudden it became one of my favorite movies of all time. But it's definitely funny how that works. But this is a really, really cool anthology. Definitely one of the best, in my opinion, that has ever been made. But that is Trick or Treat. Coming in at number 1, and this should be no surprise to anyone, other than the surprise that I have actually not upgraded to Blu-ray, but Creepshow. The most fun you'll ever have being scared. Such a cool anthology. I love every single short on this. Even the one with Stephen King, which is kind of goofy, but it's also a lot of fun. The wraparound's really cool, and this is probably the first anthology I saw, if I'm not mistaken. I believe I rented this on video disc, if I'm not mistaken. But such a cool film. But that is the end of my top 20 favorite anthologies. Curious to what you guys think? Comment below. If you like what you hear, hit that like button. Give me a sub. Preferably not one on wheat. But, bad joke. But until next time, peace.